Hello everyone, and welcome to the opening feature race of the 2014 Mopar Canadian National Superbike Championships, the 50th such race of our Superbike National Series at Shannonville Motorsport Park. I'm your series announcer, Frank Wood. Coverage of this round of the Mopar Canadian Superbike National Tour is presented by Magneti Marelli, Dunlop, and Honda Canada. Allow me to take time here to introduce the grid. Let's recognize the number 71 machine of Kristopher Garvie, Brampton Power Sports and Honda Canada helping to support the number 71 bike. Alongside him, starting from 9th position, is the number 40 bike of pro rookie Marco Souza. He on the track as a result of support from Z1 Cycle Tech. Good to go is the number 116 machine of T-Rev Trevor Daley out of Mississauga, Ontario. He on the one-speed chop shop sponsored Suzuki GSXR 1000. Alongside him, starting from 6th position on the number 24 machine, Moto Nation, Laval Moto, and CrossFit supporters of the number 24 machine, the Shaker, Sebastien Tremblay. Last position on the second row is to be occupied by OCM rider Ego Pay Holt sponsored Franklin Dominguez on the 711 machine. And we now move up to the front row. On the outside of the front row, mounted on the RSV4 Aprilia, the Royal Plumbing supported number 31, the Warlord Frank Trombino. Alongside him, mounted on the number 13 machine, the Mississauga Missile Matt McBride on the Rider's Choice Dainese Leathers sponsored BMW S1000RR. Alongside him, wearing the number 20 machine, that is the Honda Canada Accelerated Technologies and Moto Vans sponsored Jodi Christie. And on pole, the Express Lane, Wozni Racing, Ram Trucks, and Parts Canada sponsored national champion number 1 plate holder Jordan Zoke. That is the field for this, your national championship 22-lap final. Pick a winner if you will. The lights are on, the lights are off. Off the line goes Trombino. Frank Trombino sprints into the lead with honorable mention to Jordan Zoke, who came off the line in second spot. Jodi Christie running in third spot now. And Matt McBride holds on to fourth. Trombino the Warlord. That should bring a bit of a stir from the crowd as the number 31 machine, the Royal Plumbing sponsored Aprilia RSV4 of the Warlord, has taken the race lead on this lap 1 of 22 in this national championship final. Up into the hairpin they go. Trombino is the first one out of the blocks. He stretches it out to about 6 or 7 bike lengths. They've been complaining that Aprilia doesn't have the horsepower of the BMWs, and I think Zoke just proved that one loud and clear as he moves the number 1 machine right into the number 1 slot. Jordan Zoke takes your race lead before the end of the back straightaway. The Warlord runs in second spot on the Aprilia. Christie on the Honda now running in third spot has a quick look to the inside of the Warlord but makes no move at this point in time. McBride sitting back watching the action. I believe that's Sebastien Tremblay running back in fifth spot right now with Dominguez, and then Daley, then Kristopher Garvie, Tim Robinson, and Marco Souza. Souza being the rookie entry here. It is his first year in the Superbike ranks, and he's using a 600cc motorcycle, so he is at some disadvantage, both in learned skill and, of course, with the horsepower advantage. Superbikes are allowed a maximum of 190 horsepower. Sport bikes are only allowed 125, so a 600cc motorcycle, as you can imagine, at quite a disadvantage. Your top 4 riders are glued together as one as they're onto the back straightaway once more. Zoke leads over Trombino, Christie, and McBride. Christie now moving up alongside Trombino, makes a clean pass and takes the inside line from Trombino on the exit of the back straightaway onto turn 11. So you've got Zoke now on the BMW, Christie on the Honda, Trombino on the Aprilia, and McBride on the BMW. The Shaker Tremblay now on the Kawasaki. We have Daley on the Suzuki on the 116 machine. And Franklin Dominguez, also Kawasaki mounted, running in there behind Trevor Daley. Top 4 riders now making their way through turn 2. The next 3 with Sebastien Tremblay, Trevor Daley and Franklin Dominguez running in fourth, make that fifth, sixth, and seventh place as the top four riders now making their way in through turn 9 and up into the hairpin. Zoke leads over Christie, Trombino, and McBride. Trombino closes right up on the back wheel of Jodi Christie at the hairpin, and Christie, using that Honda horsepower available, stretches away from him down the back straightaway, gets brave on the brakes in behind Trombino, or in behind Zoke, I should say, and closes up to within a couple of bike lengths. Down in through the S's now. A quick right, a quick left, and then he standed up for the quick short shoot down into Allen's corner. Top three early in this race, just a bit of a study in concentration. Let's see what kind of lap times returning here. Jordan Zoke at a 105.3. Christie at a 105.4. And Trombino actually at a 105.39. So Trombino's lap time's very comparable with Zoke. And Christie just slightly off the mark. Christie looks to the inside. Doesn't get it done this time around. Or did he? Zoke leads. McBride running back there in fourth spot. McBride with those brand new Day and Easy leathers, very easy to spot. And of course, Day and Easy leathers being part of his sponsorship package. The People's Champion number 1 Zoke leads down into Allen's corner. Christie runs in second. Trombino on the Aprilia in third, and McBride on the BMW in fourth spot. Trevor Daley now has broken clear of the Kawasaki battle, and he's got that Suzuki GSXR 1000 that wears the 116 solidly into fifth spot. Franklin Dominguez now trying the inside line on Sebastian Tremblay, and Tremblay, the shaker, just slammed the door on Dominguez. Both those Kawasaki riders swapping paint going through turn 1. Dominguez definitely had designs on making an inside move on the shaker through that one, but Tremblay, as we commented, just got right in front of him, and Dominguez had no room to maneuver there at all. He simply had to slow up and give the shaker the line. We pick up on our top 4 riders now on the back straightaway. Christie runs in second spot. Here comes McBride. McBride right up alongside Trombino and has made the move into third spot. Zoke, Christie, now McBride, Trombino, and Daley. I'm going to give you a heads up on this one. John Hopkins mentioned it earlier about Daley and the horsepower he has available. He's sitting back there in fifth spot right now, but he is closing the distance ever so slowly. We're going to have to check lap times on T-Rev to see how they compare with our race leaders, but he's got 4 riders up front that he's trying to catch up to. And Trevor Daley, a 105.6, so he's definitely on pace with your race leaders. With Zoke circulating a 105.4, we got a 103 and change actually on Trombino, or 104 and change rather on Trombino one lap around, but it has not changed his position. He did get fast lap on that particular circulation, but it has not transferred into a position change on the racetrack. Daley now just coming out of the hairpin on the one-stop speed shop Motovan sponsored GSXR 1000. BMW up front, Honda runs in second, BMW in third, and Aprilia in fourth, Suzuki in fifth, and Kawasaki in sixth. And although there has been a change in those Kawasaki positions, the shaker, Sebastian Tremblay, is mixing it up. He on the 24 bike, battling it out with the 711 of Franklin Dominguez, both of those riders hailing from La Belle Province. McBride has third. Zoke and Christie are starting to sprint just a tad here. Those 2 riders now, where we had a 4-rider duel last time around. This time around, Zoke and Christie seem to have gotten together a bit and have put some distance between themselves, McBride and Trombino, in the next grouping. Then we have the lonely ride of T-Rev. Oh, a pass there. McBride has been shunted back into fourth spot. That was Trombino that made the move on the inside of 9. And something has gone wrong with McBride's bike. Matt McBride is slowly going down the back straightaway. Give me... What a shame. Heartbreak Hotel for the Mississauga Missile. McBride now pulling off into the Fabi pits. his race day is done. McBride was running a very strong third spot and suddenly began to slow. Trombino passed him going into the hairpin. Coming out of the hairpin, it was obvious McBride had no horsepower to speak of. Zoke leads over Christie, Trombino, and Daley, and now even more so, the position of Daley becomes notable as this hard-charging second-place finisher in the pro rookie ranks last year. Had it not been for two unfortunate crashes, he almost certainly would have captured the Brooklyn Cycle Racing Sunoco Pro Rookie of the Year award. Sadly, two crashes, one of them here at Shannonville to start the season, and another one at St. Eustache in round 2, and that pretty much put paid to the pro rookie aspirations of T-Rev Trevor Daley out of Mississauga, Ontario. This year, it's another story entirely. Now he's mounted on a very high horsepower, 190 horsepower Suzuki GSX-R 1000. It has been massaged to the point that he has a winning, race-winning capable motorcycle under him, and with just a little more saddle time and just a tad more honing of those skills, Daley's going to be up front, you mark my words. Presently running in fourth spot and still closing the distance on the top three riders, Trevor Daley and number 116. Here he comes down into Allen's corner all by himself right now. We pick up the race leader, Jordan Zoke, Jodi Christie, and Frank Trombino go speeding past the start-finish line, followed by Trevor Daley on the 116 machine. Now this three-way battle that's going on between Kristopher Garvie, Franklin Dominguez, and the shaker Sebastian Tremblay. Tremblay on the 24 Kawasaki, Dominguez on the 711 Kawasaki, and Garvie on the Fast Company prepared Honda CBR 1000. That thing's got gobs of horsepower, and Garvie is struggling to come to grips with it, as is Tremblay with that new ZX-10, that warhorse of a Kawasaki that he campaigns. Zoke and Christie now starting to sprint away just a tad from Trombino. And Trombino obviously down on horsepower a bit, but boy, when you got Trombino down on horsepower, you're almost guaranteed a great race. It used to be often said of Kenny Roberts when he was dirt tracking against the factory Harleys that the best race you're ever going to see is Kenny Roberts down 10 horsepower. And that's what's happening with T-Rev right now. He may not have the stuff, or with Trombino rather right now, he may not have the horsepower to get it done, but he has the bravery on the brakes, the nerve and the skill to pitch that motorcycle at unbelievable lean angles and turn the throttle open when you should not. Trombino's still running a good strong third, but as we mentioned, Zoke and Christie seem to have created a two-horse race up front here. And this race within the race with these three riders continues. Dominguez and Tremblay and Garvie. A great contest there. Marco Souza on the number 40 machine, and then Tim Robinson on the 19 completing this field. Souza, being one of the top amateurs last year, was awarded his pro plate for this year in CSBK competition in Superbike and Sport Bike competition, and he has acquitted very well for himself, taking top pro rookie honors thus far through this weekend and setting himself as lined up for the Brooklyn Cycle Racing. Garvie's on the move now, moves up right alongside Franklin Dominguez. He has made the pass. Yes, he has. Oh no, Trombino right off the racetrack. And here comes Daley. Trevor Daley now moves into third spot. Watching the action there between Garvie and Tremblay and Dominguez, we failed to notice Frank Trombino coming off Allen's corner and running it straight across, similar to what we saw Jacob Shaw O'Leary do in the Honda CBR 250 race. So Trombino gaining no advantage there. There will be no penalty assessed. However, he has his work cut out for him now because he's back in fourth spot, and he has that very fast 116 machine of Trevor Daley in front of him. Well, if Daley can bring this thing home and put it on the podium, I won't say it's unexpected. We've been waiting for this one if it should come to fruition. And he was running back in 6th and 7th spot at one time in this race when the four race leaders had sprinted off. But he has done a very, very admirable job of staying on pace, and in some examples actually reeling in the race leaders to get within stabbing distance. Looks like Jodi's going to school on Jordan once more. We've seen this happen before. In fact, it was at Shubenacadie in 2013 where Jodi Christie ran almost the entire race exactly where you see him right now, one bike length behind Jordan Zoke and all the CSBK staff here in the tower are doing the bobblehead. We remember this one. It was Jodi Christie's first national champion Superbike race win that came at the roughest race course on the circuit at Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia last year. And as I say, Christie did exactly what he's doing right now. He sat behind the people's champion for the entire race up until the last 3 corners of the racetrack, made his pass, went on defensive, and put one in the books. It kind of pales in comparison to the 43 that Zoke has stacked up thus far, but even the longest journey begins with a single step, doesn't it? Christie now looking for national championship win in Superbike number 2. Whether he can pull it off today, as he did in St. Eustache or in Shubenacadie last year, remains to be seen. Right now, he is a study in concentration. I'm sure Zoke knows he's there. Zoke is just waiting for him to show a wheel. Christie, looked like he was going to do it just there. But Christie doesn't want to get any cards out of the deck until he's ready to put them on the table. And right now, he's displaying his poker face. He doesn't want to show Zoke anything. He's just sitting back there, pacing the nation's champion and waiting for the right spot. He's probably taken a run at him a couple of times in his mind, and he likely has 2, 3, perhaps even as many as 4 different places on this racetrack where he knows he can get the job done. And I would suggest that perhaps one of those places might be coming into Allen's corner, because Christie has been brilliant on the brakes coming into that particular corner, lifting up the back wheel on that CBR 1000 and wagging the back wheel around as though it were a dog waiting for a milk bone. Christie now shadowing Zoke as they come through the final corner. It looks like Daley has slowed up his pace somewhat. He may have had a couple of moments out there, in his chase towards the front, pushing the traction on those Dunlop tires. One of the things I didn't get from the Dunlop techs this time around is who's running what in the way of tires. You'll remember in the Hindle exhaust class, we had some inside information on who was using soft and who was using medium, but we don't have that information for the Superbike race, so we're shooting from the hip up here. Zoke comes within sight from behind the pine trees and leads once more into the hairpin. The Ram trucks... we have a crash on the front straightaway here. Marco Souza, oh no, that's our top pro rookie on the number 40 machine, the Z1 Cycletech motorcycle. He has remounted the bike. He's okay, and it looks like he's going to select a gear here. Tim Robinson on the Jim Max number 19 machine makes his way by, and Marco Souza straightens up that motorcycle and heads out once more. A quick glance over to see what's bent and what's not. And hats off to the tough kid for remounting now, and he may have some close company pretty soon here and become into a lapped situation. And boy, that could play out in the finishing order of this race. Right now, your race leaders are coming up on that pro rookie as they enter turn 8. Now, Souza, as we mentioned, is mounted on a 600cc motorcycle, so he's only got 125 horsepower available. And the riders coming up on him right now, Zoke and Christie, close on him in the hairpin, and they'll use the 190 horsepower that BMW and Honda have supplied to them individually, and they should catch up to and eat up that number 40 pro rookie machine before they get into 11. Down at the end of the back straightaway, Marco Souza back on pace again. The race leaders are coming up. Now, in car racing, they would bring out a blue flag to let Souza know that he's being passed, and Christie very wisely, that was a really smart move by Christie. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but Zoke swung out to pass Souza, and there was indications that Souza might swing over and block Christie's line. So Christie very quickly, give it that extra little shot of horsepower, left the brakes just a little bit late to make sure that he could carry his momentum through with Zoke and get past number 40, Marco Souza. Good move by Christie as they run 1-2. Jordan Zoke and Jodi Christie running 1-2, and Trevor Daley just now going through turn 2 is running in 3rd spot. Frank Trombino equally now in turn 2 holds on to 4th position on the Royal Plumbing RSV4 Aprilia. Once more out onto the back straightaway, your race leaders. Just coming off the back straightaway is Tim Robinson on that Jim Max sponsored number 19 BMW. Zoke on the BMW in the race lead. Christie on the Honda. Trevor Daley on the Suzuki, your top 3 riders, but the spread between second and third is enormous, and the spread between third and fourth is large. So the race indeed is up front in terms of the race win, and indeed the contest that we saw, the great dice, Souza wisely moves over and lets the faster riders through. The great dice that we saw between Sebastian Tremblay, Franklin Dominguez, and Kristopher Garvie has evaporated, and that has become a single file show with considerable distance between those riders. Therefore, we glance once more to the hairpin turn and pick up on our race leaders, because Jodi Christie and Jordan Zoke are running as close together as any 2 riders on this racetrack. And Christie, as we mentioned, just may be pacing himself. The 22-lap final that they have to do a bit of tire management through, no doubt. And again, we don't have the inside information on whether Christie has chosen soft compound for the rear or medium or what the case may be. That may play out at the end of this day. 105.3 is the lap time for Jordan Zoke. Now, Tim Robinson and Marco Souza, Robinson on the 19 bike and Souza on the 40 bike, caught in the lapped rider situation as Frank Trombino on the number 31 Royal Plumbing. Sebastian Tremblay comes by in the Laval Moto sponsored Kawasaki ZX10. Kristopher Garvie on the Honda Canada supported machine, and Brampton Power Sport also helping Garvie out. Zoke and Christie now bring it off the back straightaway, a high-speed run down the back straightaway. Christie back about 2 or 3 bike lengths now. He was a little bit closer a few laps around, and this again may be a ploy as this kid's starting to really get some race savvy and building up a good file to draw from. He may be playing the game with Zoke, where if he falls back a bit, Zoke may think that he's got it in the bag and relax just a tad, and then Jodi can uncork one and perhaps surprise the people's champion. Oh, and Jodi is all over Zoke as they head out of turn 2 right now. Jodi Christie right in behind Jordan Zoke. The Ram Trucks and Mopar Express Lane and Parts Canada sponsored Zoke. And Motovan, Accelerated Technologies, and Honda making the program work for Jodi Christie. Well, here they are in pretty much a dead heat down the back straightaway, and it looks as though Jordan Zoke may have just a tad more horsepower. If that is true, it is certainly true also that Jodi Christie perhaps has a bit more bravery on brakes, as he drew an ooh from the crowd coming into turn 11 that time around. I got a sneaking suspicion that Christie has got something cooking here, and we're going to see the results of that in the next 2 laps is my prediction. Christie looks like he's getting ready to make a move. Zoke, meanwhile, has had a lonely ride up front, a Clearfield division, albeit for coming up on some lap riders. He has had no competition to speak of since lap 2. And as Zoke and Christie go back in behind the trees at turn 2 there, that is just the point that Trevor Daley comes speeding across the finish line. So the distance between the 2 race leaders in first and second and Trevor Daley in third place is considerable indeed. Trombino still runs in fourth. Sebastian Tremblay on the 24 machine in 5th spot. Kristopher Garvie owns 6th on the number 71 machine, with 711 Franklin Dominguez holding on to 7th spot, and pro rookie number 40 Marco Souza rounding out the top 8 on track at this point in time. Down in Dallon's corner, your race leaders, Zoke and Christie. Zoke's pit board, if I'm not mistaken, says +0, so they're indicating to Zoke that he has company, and Christie on the exit of turn 2. I got a sneaking suspicion this may be happening on this lap. I know I've said it before, but we've been watching expectantly for a move from the kid from Keene, virtually for the last 4 or 5 laps. Now, Christie did have a quick look to the inside entering the hairpin, and he closed up dramatically on Zoke right the way through that corner. But now as they get onto the back straightaway, that imaginary elastic band between those two riders stretching out again and then contracting to pull Christie back into within stabbing distance. So that back straightaway may be Christie's demise. Unless he can get a really good drive off the hairpin turn, I think Zoke has the advantage on the straightaway. And if Zoke can lead off the straightaway, he will definitely go on defense and protect that lead all the way down to the flag. And speaking of all the way down to the flag, how about if we do one more lap around and find out whether Christie's got something up his sleeve. Jodi Christie now moving up onto the back wheel of the nation's champion, the people's champion, Jordan Zoke. Out of turn 2 they come. Christie has a look to the outside. Now that outside line will give him the inside line on the right-hander we know as turn 8 from the Fabi circuit. That is the corner that's up in behind the trees there. No, he didn't get it done yet, and they go up into this back straightaway. Remember this, Jodi looks to the inside, he takes it. Jodi Christie has taken the race lead onto the back straightaway. Zoke pulls up right alongside him. Now they were side by side, but just for a moment as Zoke uncorks one now. He's got the afterburners on. Christie comes down. He's got those rotors just glowing on that CBR 1000 on the brakes. Oh, Christie almost off the racetrack. Virtual desperation move by Christie, trying to make that move. Now he comes down into the Allen's corner. He'll pull the same trick that Trombino pulled on him last week at the regionals. No room there as Zoke protects all the way around. No room for Christie. There you have it. 1-2, Zoke and Christie in that order. And with a smile on our face, we look down now towards the last corner and realize that Trevor Daley is going to score his first professional podium finish with a third-place finish on the 116 Z1 Cycletech Suzuki GSXR 1000. That's your top 3. Fourth place goes to the Warlord Frank Trombino, with an honorable mention to Marco Souza. Fifth place will go to Sebastian Tremblay on the 24 machine. Sixth spot to Kristopher Garvie on the 71. And seventh place to the number 711 on the OCM Kawasaki ZX-10R, Franklin Dominguez. Let's talk with T-Rev first. Trevor Daley, what a great ride. What a smart ride.
Yeah, thanks very much. I pretty much had a bit of a mistake on the start there and lost a couple positions, so had to work a bit, to get those back and, make some smart moves while, not trying to lose too much time on the lead group there. And then pretty much just, the bike worked great. These Dunlop tires are awesome. And my one-speed chop shop Suzuki GSXR with Olin suspension with help from John Cornwall was awesome at the end of the race, and easy to ride. So made it easy.
Jodi, it looked like it was going to be a repeat of Shubenacadie from last year where you followed Jordan for pretty much the whole race and then put a pass on him. But this time it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I was following him there. We had a really good bike setup today. I can't give a big enough thanks to my whole team. Accelerated Technologies, Honda CBR 1000 was really hooking up and worked really well. We were, I think we were in the mid-5s pretty much that whole race, and it was really comfortable. The Dunlops held up great and, very consistent, and I felt like I had the bike to win. I know I had the bike to win. I made a little mistake there on the last lap when I made the pass into the hairpin and pushed the front, but was able to, to stand it up and try to get a decent drive. But I've been racing with Jordan for years, so I knew as soon as I ran a little bit wide, he was already squaring it up behind me. So I just have to keep working on it and do the best I can. But overall, really pleased. I can't give it out to my team. A big enough thanks to my team.
Jordan, congratulations. Let's talk about your race.
Yeah, obviously it was an awesome race. Anytime you win, it's awesome. But I think it was a good race, too, for the crowd, and a good race for Trevor to get on the box. And, Jodi, he's getting smarter with age. He's followed some of the best riders in the world, in North America around, learned a lot over the years. He's really maturing. So I was expecting something, and I was actually thinking a little bit more into Allen's that he was going to try something. And I tried to get on the gas really hard out of 3. You guys can't see it. And I just got into a little bit of a wobble, which slowed me up through the left-hander, and then Jodi tried it into Allen's, but I was lucky I was able to square up underneath him and get a better drive down the straightaway.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champion and race winner, Jordan Zoke. Your podium consisting of Trevor Daley on the Suzuki in third, Jodi Christie on the Honda in second, and Jordan Zook on the BMW in first.